I'd like you to take out your phones, unlock them, and enter notes. Are we doing that? Okay. So now I'd like you to think of a random person you like. It could be anyone, a family member, a colleague, and think of a trait you admire most, and write that trait down right now. Okay, now I'd like you to think of a different person or the same one and identify the trait you absolutely despise, the one you hate the most, and write it down. Put your phones up when you're ready. Wow, so many people you hate, you have to... Okay. Do you want to know what's this all about? The first trait that you actually wrote is one you have yourself but aren't aware of. The second one is also one you have, but you fail to acknowledge it. You choose to bury it deep inside of you, hoping that one day it will go away, but it won't. And each time a person having that particular trait will show up, you will be confronted, and it will be reflected. It will be reflecting your personality. So a few months ago, when I did the same test as you did, what I wrote down was immature. And as I did that, I recognized the fact that most of my accomplishments were just born out of struggle not to identify myself with that adjective. Everything I have ever accomplished throughout my early teenage years was constructed to run away from that adjective. I started out by taking on responsibilities because I was afraid of being a child. I wanted to be an adult. I wanted to take responsibilities. So when I took every possible option, school-based, I set out to explore more. And I took on other responsibilities from outside school. I took on projects. And then my friends and I organized a conference, and then it was not enough. And then I started taking on different leadership positions. And when this was not enough, I started giving out workshops. And then when this was not enough, I wanted to invest more and go out there more and do just more. And it was never enough. Always projects, project after project, project after project, it was never enough. And the feeling of dissatisfaction followed me around wherever I go. And that feeling turned into anger, and anger turned into sadness. And well, it all culminated with a very simple diagnosis. 2 words, depression and anxiety. Experiencing this, I have understood that in today's society, coming of age is no longer a question of quality, but a race against time. In many cultures, religious and societies, coming of age is an important milestone in the lives of individuals. The transition takes many forms, ranging from rituals such as enduring severe physical pain, or less physical but equally painful baccalaureate exams. Globally, over 1.8 young adults are currently taking the leap into adulthood. Throughout our lives, we are exposed to a broad range of experiences. Their purpose is to guide us. Their purpose is to enlighten us about reality. So we use newly gained knowledge to tackle on new obstacles. And doing so, we create a cycle. And repeat it over a considerable amount of time. This ensures that we have a healthy transition from teenage to adults. However, in recent years, the process failed to adapt to the fast-changing societies we are part of. Maybe for our parents and our grandparents, coming of age was something easy, was something that followed a certain pattern. Well, but for us, it is not. And children nowadays face a reality in which they are forced to search for a road in which the lines are getting blurrier and blurrier. Why am I telling you this? Why is this relevant? Well, although I'm not very good at maths myself, certain people are, and they have found out that there is a severe increase in mental health illness. In 1995, there would only be 0.8% children that reported having a mental illness, while this plummeted in 2014 with 4.8% people suffering from a mental illness. Teenagers of today struggle, and the group between 16 and 24 are the most vulnerable ones. While the cognitive abilities can put any respectable 30-year-old to shame, today's 18-year-old is more prone to be emotionally crippled than ever. These changes go beyond the psychology of a teenager into a hormonal and neural levels as well. Basically, to effectively transition from childhood to adulthood, the brain loses its overall plasticity, loses its overall flexibility, but certain neural routes are strengthened and become faster. This process is called pruning. Our brains work by creating synapses between neurons, and as we grow up, these synapses begin to increase, as you can see. This is the reason why childhood sports and speaking other languages are so easily absorbed during childhood, because our pathways aren't fully yet drawn up. It's easier for our brains to connect the dots. Repeating certain activities will strengthen a specific route, while not doing it will ineffective or unwanted ones will be dismissed or will be pruned. And these changes are the reason why we often experience mood swings or irrational behavior during the day. Because our brains are changing from the brains of a child to the brains of an adult human being. However, this is the part where it gets trickier. When we experience stress during childhood, our brains are forced to find the pathway faster in a state of emergency, instead of taking its right time to find the best one. Just like it would happen in a maze. People would say, wow, you are so mature for your age. Yet, it appears to be that this desirable trait often hides serious implications. So how can we ensure a smooth transition? I want you to imagine two neighbors, each building a house of their own. Bill in the left and Gil on the right. Bill only uses wood and is constantly making good progress, while Jill uses bricks and, well, she gets stuck behind because working with bricks is harder, obviously. So at times, neighbors would even gather and talk about the progress of these two. And they would appreciate the progress Bill has done and look down on Jill for her lack of it. However, out of the blue, a storm hits, ravishing the neighborhood. Assessing damage, it comes to the conclusion that Bill's house perished while Jill's home was left untouched. In this equation, in this metaphor, the storm represents hardships and obstacles which we face each day. At times, even the smallest obstacles might seem as if they are triggering a huge storm inside of our lives. And Bill chose time over quality and could not compare himself to Jill, who chose to build a strong bedrock. Having enough courage and time and patience to allow yourself to grow, during the early stages of your childhood means that you will develop healthy mechanisms to cope with everything that goes around in your life, while trying to actively skip through stages will make you frustrated and unhappy. Another way of a smooth transition is balancing the relationship between desire and ability. Usually, there is a question about what we want to achieve and what we are ready to do so. When desire and ability don't usually match, it results in frustration. So how do you fix this? Well, it's easy. You have to set realistic expectations. Teenagers take great pride in having a busy schedule nowadays. Now this is the trend. Being overwhelmed by working hours. Instead, set smaller, attainable goals. Set real-life expectations and identify your abilities as well as the things you master less, and combine them. Use them to your own advantage. And now I'd like you to go back to the note on your phone, to the undesired trait, and you can ask yourself as I did, can you work with it? And if so, then plan accordingly, but plan using baby steps, ensuring that each step you take is taken with confidence. But remember, it's your overall choice not to do so, because whether you want to change it or not, passing into adulthood is not about being perfect. It's about acknowledging who you are and feeling good about it, no matter how much time it takes. So I urge you, next time you meet someone new, especially a teenager, instead of asking him, what do you want to be when you grow up? Ask him about his day. Ask him if he was happy. Thank you.